Horrific things that were normal to Wild West madams. Did you know that without prostitutes, there would be no Wild West? In the Wild West, women's roles were still relatively constrained. Even while some women migrated with their families to the new regions, many of them relied on their male family members to work to provide for them financially. But sometimes there were more possibilities for those who chose to become bar ladies. Being a madam required a great deal of skill because, as well as monitoring the cleanliness of the brothel and providing training, cosmetics and clothes, they has to keep their business transactions discreet and stay on the good side of the law. There are many misconceptions in today's society regarding Old West saloons and the job of the saloon lady. For instance, a large number of the women worked as unusual waitresses or dancers. And although they may not have led dazzling lives, saloon girls enjoyed certain liberties. These painting ladies were trailblazers in American history despite having risky and challenging lives. Miners and soldiers of the Wild West sought solace and sexual gratification with prostitutes. Young men left their families in search of income at the American frontiers and took jobs as miners, soldiers, laborers, or cowboys. As soon as silver or gold was found somewhere, the towns flourished like mushrooms after rain. The towns were full of men and scarce of women. The men were far away from the watchful eyes of their families, and they longed for female companionship. The conditions for rampant prostitution were ripe. In the Old West, the legality of establishments of bad repute depended on the jurisdiction in question. Some historians claim that the practice was universally approved. Madams only required licenses to operate their businesses, and the revenue generated by the licensing assured the city made money. Other historians stated that in order to operate, bordellos had to pay penalties to municipal governments, which were often around $8 per month. These establishments appear to have been disregarded by many authorities because they boosted the local economy. Maddie Silks became on the best-known madams in the West, having brothels in Dodge City, Kansas and Denver, Colorado, where demand for women was high due to the gold rushes. Maddie was a competitive businesswoman and engaged in a public duel with rival Madam Kate Fulton when she opened another brothel on her patch. Maddie was so successful that she netted $38,000, the equivalent of $1 million today, running a bordello for 3 months in Dawson City, Alaska. Maddie married at least twice and also kept a lover. She had a reputation for excellent service in her establishments and was known for sheltering the needy and homeless in her brothels. There's a notion that all saloon girls are tricksters. In actuality, alcohol sales, rather than sex, were the primary source of income for many bar employees. Drinks typically cost between 10 and 75 cents, and the saloon girls received a portion of the sales revenue. The owners of saloons could make money and pay their female employees by marking up the cost of beverages. Saloon girls made about $10 a week, or about $200 today. Even among women, there was a significant amount of social stratification in the Old West. Those who were seen as suitable ladies conformed to the social norms of the day. They were wives, mothers, and daughters who, for the most part, were dependent on men for support. Women in more traditional roles looked down on saloon girls, but the men who sought them out didn't appear to care that much. Men were drawn to saloon girls because they were a rare breed in the Old West. Male customers would frequently feel at ease around them because of their low social status. Additionally, tavern proprietors frequently demanded patrons to behave the women politely. Failing to do so could result in expulsion from the establishment or social exclusion, even death. Saloon girls handled a wide range of duties and donned many different hats. Saloon and dance hall females would usually sing, speak, and dance to amuse clients instead of engaging in sexual activity for payment. The true night workers of the day were shady ladies, who might either work for madam or work for themselves. Women who worked in brothels often had a little higher social status and were employed by organizations that were transparent about their motivations. Along with the bar girls who didn't provide adult company, shady women occasionally worked there as well. Even though many women worked in saloons to avoid field work, they were still at risk. Deaths through violence were a risk of the job. Men occasionally developed possessive tendencies toward women or made unreasonable demands of saloon employees. One account claims that a patron beat a bar lady and called her a nasty name. She claimed she could withstand physical abuse, but the insult was painful. Many later came to be viewed as being too elderly for the work and frequently had nowhere to turn. Several passed away from overdoses, illnesses, or self-harm. Saloon girls were known by several nicknames. A lot of euphemisms were used to describe the saloon girls who marketed adult encounters. The women have also been referred to as ceiling experts, soiled doves, and horizontal employees. And as these women frequently wore striking makeup, they could also be referred to as painted ladies. Workers in saloons were also referred to as ladies of the line or sporting women. By using these abbreviations, people can discuss the profession without actually discussing it. Saloon girls wore embarrassing clothes, even though Victorian style, and by extension Old West fashion, was frequently intricate and extravagant. It was more subdued than earlier fashions. But women at saloons rarely wore conservative clothing. Saloon girls' attire mirrored their reputation for being glitzy and lively. The women disregarded convention and donned bold, colorful petticoats. Their lower hemlines and colorful skirts attracted attention. Although floor-length skirts or skirts with trains were usually more suitable, their garments ended around the knee or shin. In addition to stockings and exposed garters, which were typically worn as undergarments, saloon girls' attire. Drinks were frequently bought by men for saloon girls. Saloon girls were expected to converse with the lonesome men of the Wild West, give them drinks, and provide entertainment. Male customers frequently attempted to buy drinks for attractive ladies, but saloon proprietors could hardly permit their staff to get intoxicated while working. However, bar owners subtly substituted the beverages men requested for saloon girls with tea or colored water that looked like liquor because they didn't want to lose important sales. Once sober, saloon girls could continue to profit from every transaction and drink with every customer. Beginning in 1849, dance halls with many of the same charms as saloons appeared in the area. However, dance halls also offered another perk: dancing partners. For roughly $1, visitors could buy a ticket that could be exchanged for a dance with one of the company's women. Each ticket sold brought in money for the dancers, and they also got a cut of the drinks that they sold after the dance. With roughly 50 dances per night, highly sought-after dancers could earn a significant sum of money, more than a male might make in a month. Many women of the day could live reasonably comfortably as saloon girls, but it wasn't always a permanent profession. Numerous saloon ladies wanted to improve their wealth by marrying one of the numerous bachelors seeking to make it rich in the Old West. Their closeness to the customers provided them with many options. Owners of saloons may set a time limit on the amount of time a male customer might spend with any one lady in an effort to prevent the women from possibly falling in love and leaving the bar or dance hall. The women were less inclined to leave because they were unable to get to know each other well. In the 19th century, society's views about sexuality were set in stone. Some individuals thought that adult intimacy was just for reproduction. As a result, shady ladies, or women who traded it for cash, would be viewed as harmful to society. However, There were instances when night work was one of the few options available to women. For example, shady ladies may support their families if they were widowed by charging anywhere between $1 and $50 for the act. In the 1840s and 1850s, men made up the majority of settlers who went west in search of gold. Some women moved to the west to find husbands, daughters, and mail-order brides. However, the males who migrated to the west were mainly single bachelors. There was a 3-to-1 male-to-female population ratio, making the gender demographics hopelessly lopsided. About 90% of the settlers in California in 1850 were men. The few women present had employment opportunities in the bars that the guys frequented. That's it for today. Remember to support our channel. Please subscribe.